I think I fixed it. Maybe. Maybe I fixed it. We're trying to figure this out, guys. If I broke something, I broke something. But it looks like it says it's working. Okay. We're good then. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I hope you all are having a fantastic time. We'll be starting soon in a bit. I just need to pull up chat and then and you know, do the retweet thing. Oh my god. I'm gonna delete that. Oh Jesus fucking Christ. Ugh, sorry. I didn't realize it was gonna start streaming on my Twitter. That was a mistake. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna die. It's fine. My embarrassment is at a peak. It's fine. What is embarrassment but just living life and understanding your mistakes. This one? We'll be reading The Princess and the Chest today. Just give me a moment. I'm sure everyone's having a fantastic time. Okay. Is it gonna... Oops. We may have made a slight mistake, guys. It's fine. This happens. I forgot that it might do that. It's gonna be okay. I can just delete the scheduled event later. That's never gonna happen because of the mistake I made. And the live, it was still going on. So let me just pull up the live link. So I was gonna like be like, oh my god, we're live, guys. And it says we're live on YouTube, but whether I can find that video, ha 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 ha. Am I missing a button? Where did I go wrong? Also Twitter. Yes, it was a Twitter stream for a hot second. It says it's supposed to be working. Why is it not working though? That's the real question. Ha ha ha. Can I just delete this and then be like, okay, we're live. This is so weird and I don't like this, guys. Why is it like this? Okay, if I click this should take me to the video, right? No, it's just taking me to the YouTube channel, which doesn't take me to the video, which the video says we're waiting for people to show up. Edit video. I'm just gonna delete this and I'll have to post this with an edit on YouTube and I'll explain what happened. I don't know what I did to mess it up, but I messed it up pretty good, guys. So welcome. Oh wait, no, it says there is a live right now. Okay, hold on. I found it, I think. I'm gonna delete forever this one. Okay. Can I go to that video now? That'd be great. I just want to make sure it's working.
This is Stuff J here from the past, letting you know that you have a raid.
Oh, it's a raid!
Jay, what are you doing?
I was like here trying to fix everything, and now there's a raid. Hello, guys. Welcome, welcome. Stream Elements. I thought I got rid of you, but Shad, how are you doing? We're about to do some story time. It took me a hot second. I made a mistake and kissed the snake because I'm trying to post this on Twitter to let people know that I'm going to be starting, but I'm going to be starting. I'm not going to redoing this. We're good. I think like 99% sure we're good now that I've fixed the mistake that I had made. Twitch.tv/JQplays. How's everything doing? How's everyone going? What were you guys doing? Oh yeah. Oh, you guys were playing. I'm not playing Baldur's Gate 3. I really hate it. Does it say that that's my title right now? Is that it's Baldur's Gate 3? Because I should fix that if it is. Restream.io is so weird. because I do story times at the same time. No. Okay. It does say I am playing Baldur's Gate 3, which is not what I'm doing. So I will fix that, but it does say that it is brunch in bed. So I will fix at least that much. I love it when things happen. Our foolish ambitions were put to rest. Yes. No, I did Baldur's Gate yesterday, guys. Uh, though I do try to stream at least every Wednesday when I can remember it. Where is the way I can edit this so that way it's just like not Baldur's Gate, just chatting stream, please. There's no story time here, but just chatting. There we go. I'm doing that tomorrow. Oh, you are? Nice. Okay. We're good now, I think. I'm pretty sure. So, I think I fixed everything. My ambition is so high and mighty, and then I can't even. Oh, so hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are having a good day, and it sounds like everyone's having a good day despite my false narrative that I'm doing Baldur's Gate 3 today. I hope everyone else is having a fantastic time. Oh shoot, I forgot one more thing. This is my life. I need to figure out a way to simplify this better. I have not learned that yet, because even though I have a computer and I've been doing this for 4 years, me trying to do it with a new computer, it's a whole new system for me mentally. All right. You know what I was doing last night for the majority of the night? I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I was not going to bed on time. But then I realized I was stuck in a bunch of quests, so guess what? Oh, go. All right. There you go. So, because Heaven's Word is, we did the math last time, when I was talking to people in my Discord, because I was like, if I'm gonna suffer through Final Fantasy and trying to get the story done in 6 weeks, that's the math, because I need to finish Endwalker in 6 weeks, including post Shadowbringers, which I know that just sounds like a bunch of things, but there's like currently 3 stories right now, and they're gonna have the 4th story coming out soon, and I'm currently in the end game of the 4th story of the 2nd story, and I need to finish that and the 3rd story, which so far it's been taking me a month to finish every single thing while still doing the events at the same time, more or less. And I'm trying to finish this faster than a month. So we'll see how that goes. Oh man, it's going to be a great time. Anyway, so hi. We're going to be reading The Princess and the Chess. As you guys voted, it's going to be a zombie movie. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned zombie fairy tale? So, we'll be starting that. Oh no, wait. Did I not print it out? Oh my goodness. Only I would do this to myself. I think it's Andrew Lang. I think it's the pink book it's in. Though I might be mixing that up with the Prunella one. Princess in the Chest, or sometimes called Princess in the Coffin. Because it's zombie princess fairy tale. We love a good zombie princess. It is in the pink book. I am not crazy. I did remember that. I am amazing. Give me the HTML, not the zip file, the other one. Why would you do this to me? Why does this happen to me? The pink fairy tale. Fairy book, there we go. I've made my mistakes, don't know where to run now. Oh, I already have that on my computer. I'm so smart. I was probably doing this in advance, or it's because Prunella was also in that book. Oh, cries. Or Prunella was also in that book. All right, I'm gonna pull it up. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing on my screen, but I'm doing way too much on my screen. I need to find out what chapter Brunella's in. Or the Princess in the Coffin is in. Which chapter is it? Okay, Princess in the Chest is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10th tale in here. Oh, mama, 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 mama. The Slaying of the Tanuki, the Flying Trunk, the Snowman. And there is a reason I have the stream starting soon started on here. There is a reason for that. Okay, it's page 22 through 23, 24, 25, 26. So it's page 23 through page 26. Now we're going to go to my family's printer, and you're going to pay not all the pages. You're going to print pages 22 through 27 because I just forgot what numbers I just said out loud. And you're gonna print it in black and white, and it's low on ink already. Okay, I will deal with that at another time. As long as it prints, it will. It's printing. That's what I want to hear. Okay. All right. Zombies. Time to look up some spreadsheets. I know, right? My life is like this. We can close this. And where'd my presentation go? I tried to switch screens so that way you guys didn't have to suffer with me while I was trying to find it on my computer, but I'll be damned. All right, here we go. But hi, welcome to breakfast in bed, which may be changed to brunch in bed because I'm never on time. I'm eating pineapple. We're gonna be reading about a zombie princess. What is the word of the day? The word of the day, since this is a Dutch fairy tale, is a Dutch word which means flens, which in English it just means to strip of blubber or skin. I felt like that was appropriate, you know, with the zombie tale, and we're stripping blubber or skin off of things, maybe. So I figured we'd do the Dutch word. The reason that the Dutch word exists, by the way, because of flens, is because of the fact that the Dutch were really part of the whaling industry for a really long time. And so let's talk about a little bit of the Pink Fairy book while I'm waiting for the printer to work. The Pink Fairy book was a book made by Andrew Lang. He collected sources from a bunch of oral sources, like the Brothers Grimm. Instead of collecting it from oral sources, like the Brothers Grimm did, he just looked for published works and translated them into his stories. This one in particular, The Princess in the Trunk, also known as The Princess in the Coffin, is a Danish tale. We don't know where Andrew Lang got it from, as the stories were posted without attribution, but we know it's also sometimes translated as Princess in the Coffin. Queen struggles to have a child and asks a wise old woman what to do as the king threatens to divorce her if she doesn't bear him a child. I originally thought it was he threatens to kill her, but then I actually read it again, and I was like, oh no, it's just divorce. And so we will begin the story as soon as I grab that. I should have okay, hold on. I will go back through that again, and I will turn off the stream starting soon because I forgot I don't need that on when I'm doing that. This is a chaotic thing because I'm in a rush. All right, I got it. I got the Princess in the Chest out straight off the presses, guys. How to speed run a stream doesn't exist. All right. All right, we're gonna go back through that just one more time, so that way when I put this on YouTube because I made a. No, it is on YouTube. Never mind. I could just fix this. I'll just put the thingy in and it'll be fine. All right. But yeah, so word of the day is Flint's to strip the blubber skin. The Pink Fairy Book. The fairy books were made by Andrew Lang. He collected not from oral sources like the Brothers Grimm, but instead went searching for published works and translating them. Which, you know, some people might have issue with. I definitely do. It's a Danish tale. We don't know where he got it from. We just know it's Danish. And stories were posted about it without attribution. There's been also other versions in other countries with different names and a little bit of slightly different stories. But what we do know is that it is sometimes translated as Princess in the Coffin. And the queen struggles to have a child and a wise old woman what to do. And the king threatens to divorce her if she doesn't bear him a child. All right. Now that I have the story, now that I'm not trying to speed run my life, let us begin, shall we? All right. This is why we don't stay up all night playing Final Fantasy XIV. The Princess in the Chest. There were once a king and queen who lived in a beautiful castle and had a large and fair and rich and happy land to rule over. From the very first, they loved each other greatly. They lived very happily together, but they had no heir. They had been married for 7 years, but had neither son nor daughter, and that was a great grief to both of them. More than once it happened that when the king was in a bad temper, he let it out on the poor queen and said that here they were now getting old, and neither they nor the kingdom had an heir, and it was all her fault. This was hard to listen to, and she went and cried and vexed herself. Finally, the king said to her one day, "This can't be borne any longer. I go about childless, and it's your fault. I'm going on a journey and shall be away for a year. If you do not have a child when I come back again, all will be well, and I shall love you beyond all... Oh, wait, no. If you have a child when I come back again, all will be well, and I shall love you beyond all measure, and never more say an angry word to you. But if the nest is just as empty when I come home, then I must part with you." After the king set out on his journey, the queen went about in her loneliness and sorrowed and vexed herself more than ever. At last her maid said to her one day, "I think that some help could be found if your majesty would seek it." Then she was told about a wise old woman in the country who had helped many in troubles of the same kind, and could no doubt help the queen as well, if she would send for her. The queen did so, and the wise woman came, and to her she confided her sorrow, and that she was childless, and the king and this kingdom had no heir. The wise woman knew help for this. "Out in the king's garden," said she, "under the oak tree that stands on the left hand, just as one goes out from the garden, is a little bush, rather brown than green, with hairy leaves and long spikes. On that bush there are just at this moment 3 buds. If your majesty in 6 months... Oh, wait, no. Sorry, this is why I have to have my finger on the line. If your majesty goes out there alone, fasting before sunrise, takes the middle one of the 3 buds and eats it, then in 6 months you will bring a princess into the world. As soon as she is born, she must have a nurse whom I shall provide, and this nurse must live with the child in a secluded part of the palace. No other person must visit that child, neither the king nor the queen must see it until it is 14 years old, for that would cause great sorrow and misfortune." The queen rewarded the old woman richly, and the next morning before the sun rose, she was down in the garden, found at once the little bush with the 3 buds, plucked the middle one and ate it. It was sweet to the taste, but afterwards was a bitter as gall. 6 months after this, she brought into the world a little girl. There was a nurse in readiness, whom the wise woman had provided, and preparations were made for her living with this child quite alone in a secluded wing of the castle, looking out onto the pleasure park. The queen did as the wise woman told her. She gave up the child immediately, and the nurse took it and lived with her there. When the king came home and heard that a daughter had been born to him, he was, of course, very pleased and happy and wanted to see her at once. The queen then told him of this much of the story, and it had been foretold that it would cause great sorrow and misfortune if either he or she got sight of the child until it was had completed its 14th year. This was a long time to wait. The king longed so much to get sight of his daughter, and the queen no less than he, but she knew that it was not like other children, for it could speak immediately after it was born, and it was wise as older folk. This nurse had told her, for the queen had a talk now and then, but there was no one who had ever seen the princess. The queen had also seen what the wise woman could do, and so she insisted strongly that her warning should be obeyed. The king often lost his patience, was determined to see his daughter, but the queen always put him off on the idea, and so things went on until the very day before the princess completed her 14th year. The king and queen were out in the garden then, and the king said, "Now I can't wait, and I won't wait any longer. I must see my daughter at once. A few hours, more or less, can't make any difference." The queen begged him to have patience till the morning, and when they had waited so long, they could surely wait a single day more. But the king was unreasonable. "No nonsense," said he. "She is as much mine as yours, and I will see her." And with that he went straight up to her room. He burst the door open and pushed aside the nurse, who tried to stop him, and there he was and saw his daughter. She was the loveliest young princess, red and white like milk and blood, with clear blue eyes and golden hair, but right in the middle of her forehead was a tiny tuft of brown hair. The princess went to meet her father, fell on his neck, and kissed him, but with that she said, "Sorry, there's a fruit fly. Oh, father, father, what have you done now? Tomorrow I must die, and you must choose one of three things. Either the land must be smitten with black pestilence, or you must have a long and bloody war, or you must, as soon as I am dead, lay me in a plain wooden chest, set it in the church, and for a whole year place a sentinel beside it every night." The king was frightened indeed, and thought she was raving, but in order to please her, he said, "Well, of these three things I shall choose the last. If you die, I shall lay you at once in a plain wooden chest, and have it set in the church, and every night I shall place a sentinel beside it, but you shall not die, even if you are ill now." He immediately summoned all the best doctors in the country, and they came with all their prescriptions and their best bottles, but the next day the princess was stiff and cold in death. All the doctors could certify that they had all put their names to this and appended their seals, and that they had all done all they could. The king kept his promise. The princess' body was laid the same day in a plain wooden chest, and set in the chapel over the castle. And on that night and every night after it, a sentinel was posted in the church to keep watch over the chest. The first morning when they came to let the sentinel out, there was no sentinel there. They thought he had just got frightened and run away, and the next evening a new one was posted in the church. In the morning he was also gone, so it went every night. When they came in the morning to let the sentinel out, there was no one there, and it was impossible to discover which way he had gone, if he had run away. And what should they run away for, every one of them, so that nothing more was overheard or seen of them from the hour that they were set on the guard beside the princess's chest. It came now as a general belief that the princess's ghost walked and ate all of those who were guarding her chest, and very soon there was no one left who would be placed on this duty, and the king's soldiers deserted the service before their turn came to be her bodyguard. The king then promised a large reward to the soldier who could volunteer for the post. This did for some time, as there were found a few reckless fellows who wished to earn this good payment, but they never got it, for in the morning they too had disappeared like the rest. And so it had gone on for something like a whole year, Every night, a sentinel had been placed beside the chest, either by compulsion or of his own free will, but not a single one of the sentinels was to be seen, either on the following day or any time thereafter, and so it had also gone with one on the night before a certain day, when a merry young smith came wandering to town where the king's castle stood. It was the capital of the country, and the people of the king came to it to get work. The smith, whose name was Christian, had come for that same purpose. There was no work for him in the place he belonged to, and he wanted to now seek a place in the capital. There he entered an inn, where he sat down in the public room and got something to eat. Some under officers were sitting there who were out to try and get someone enlisted to stand sentry. They had to go in this way day after day. Hitherto, they had always succeeded in finding one or another reckless fellow, but on this day they had as yet found no one. It's too well known how all the sentinels disappeared, who were set on the post, and all that they had to got hold of refused with thanks. These sat down beside Christian and ordered drinks, and drank along with him. Now Christian was a merry fellow, who liked good company, and he could both drink and sing and talk and boast well. And when he got a little drop in his head, he was the life of the party. He told those under the officers that he was one of that kind of folk who never are afraid of anything. And then he was just the kind of man they liked, and he might easily earn a good penny before he was a day older. The king paid $100 to anyone who could stand a sentinel in the church all night beside the daughter's chest. Christian was not afraid of that. He wasn't afraid of anything. So they drank another bottle of wine on this, and Christian went with them to the colonel, where he put into uniform with musket and all the rest, and then shut up in the church to stand sentinel that night. It was 8 o'clock when he took up his post, and for the first hour he was quite proud of his courage. During the second hour he was well pleased with the large reward that he would get, but in the third hour it was getting near 11. The effects of the wine had passed off, and he began to get uncomfortable, for he had heard about this post, that no one had ever escaped alive from it, so far as is known. But neither did anyone know what had become of all the sentinels. They thought of this. The thought of this ran in his head so much after the wine was out that he searched about everywhere for a way of escape, and finally at 11 o'clock he found a little postern in the steeple, which was not locked, and out at this he crept, intending to run away. At the same moment, as he stood foot outside the church door, he saw standing before him a little man who said, "Good evening, Christian. Where are you going?" With this, he felt as if he was rooted to the spot and could not move. "Nowhere," said he. "Oh, yes," said the little man. "You were just about to run away, but you have taken upon you to stand sentinel in the church tonight, and there you must stay." Christian said very humbly that he dared not, therefore wanted to get away, and begged to be let go. "No," said the little one, "you must remain at your post, but I shall give you a piece of good advice. You shall go up to the pulpit, remain standing there. You need never mind what you see or hear. It will not be able to do you any harm. If you remain in your place until you hear the lid of the chest slam down again behind the dead, then all danger is past, and you can go about the church wherever you please." The little man then pushed him into the door again and locked it after him. Christian made haste to get up into the pulpit and stood there without noticing anything until the clock struck 12. Then the lid of the princess's chest sprung up, and out of it there came something like the princess, dressed as you see in the picture. It shrieked and howled, "Sentry, where are you? Sentry, where are you? If you don't come, you shall get the most cruel death anyone had ever got." It all around the church, and it went finally caught sight of the smith up in the pulpit. It came rushing thither and mounted the steps, but it could not get up the whole way. For all that it stretched and strained, it could not touch Christian, who meanwhile stood trembling up at the pulpit. When the clock struck 1, the appearance had to go back into the chest again, and Christian heard the lid slam shut after it. After this was dead silence in the church. He lay down where he was and fell asleep, and did not wake before it was bright daylight, and he heard steps outside, and the noise of the key being put into the lock. Then he came down from the pulpit and stood with his musket in front of the princess's chest. It was the colonel himself who had came with the patrol, and he was not a little surprised when he found the recruit safe and sound. He wanted to have a report, but Christian would give him none, so he took him straight to the king and announced for the first time that here was the sentinel who had stood guard in the church overnight. The king immediately got out of bed and laid hundreds of dollars for him on the table, and then wanted to question him. "Have you seen anything?" said he. "Have you seen my daughter?" "I have stood my post," said the young smith, "and that is quite enough. I undertook nothing more." He's not sure whether he dared to tell what he had seen and heard, and besides, he was also a little conceited because he had done what no other man had been able to do and had the courage for. The king professed to be quite satisfied and asked him whether he would engage himself to stand on guard the following night. "No, thank you," said Christian. "I would have no more of that." "As you please," said the king. "You have behaved like a brave fellow, and now you shall have your breakfast. You must be needing something to strengthen you after that turn." The king had breakfast laid for him and sat down at the table with him in person. He kept constantly filling his glass for him, praising him, and drinking his health. Christian need no pressing, but did fill justice to the food and drink, and not to the latter. He grew bold, and he said that if the king would give him $200 for it, he would be his man to stand the sentry the next night as well. When this was arranged, Christian bade him good day, and went among the guards and out into the town with the other soldiers and under officers. He had a pocket full of money, and treated them and drank them and boasted and made game for the good-for-nothings who were afraid to stand guard because they were frightened a dead princess would eat them. See whether she had eaten him. And so the next day, in mirth and glee, when 8 o'clock came, Christian was again up in the church all alone. Before he had been there for 2 hours, he got tired of it, though only of getting away. He found a little door behind the altar, which was not locked, and at 10 o'clock he slipped out of it again, and took his heels and made for the beach. He got halfway thither, when all at once the same little man who stood in front of him said, "Good evening, Christian. Where are you going?" "I've leave to go where I please," said the smith. But at the same time, he noticed that he could not move a foot. "No, you have undertaken to keep guard tonight as well," said the little man, "and you must attend to that." He then took hold of him, and however unwilling he was, Christian had to go and with him and right back to the same little door that he crept out of. And when he got there, the little man said to him, "Go in front of the altar now, and take your hand to the book that is lying there. There you shall stay till you hear the lid of the chest slam down over the dead. If in that way you will come to no harm." With that, the little man shoved him into at the door and locked it. Christian then immediately went in front of the altar, took the book in his hand, and stood thus until the clock struck 12, and the appearance sprang out of the chest. "Sentry, where are you? Sentry, where are you?" It shrieked, and then rushed to the pulpit, and right up into it. But there was no one there that night. Then it howled and shrieked again, "My father has sent no sentry in war, and past this night begin." At the moment, it seemed the smith standing in front of the altar and came rushing towards him. "Are you there? Now I'll catch you." Oh, but it could not come over to the step in front of the altar. And there it continued to howl and scream and threaten until the clock struck 1, when it had to go into the chest again. Christian heard the lid slam above it, and that night, however, it had not the same appearance as the previous one. It was less ugly. When all was quiet in the church, the smith lay down before the altar and slept calmly till the following morning, when the colonel came to fetch him. He was taken up to the king again, and things went on as the day before. He got his money, but he would give no explanation of what he had seen of the king's daughter, and he would not take the post again, he said. But after he had a good breakfast and tasted the king's wine, he undertook to go the guard again on the third night, but he would not do it for less than half of the kingdom, he said, for it was a dangerous post, and the king had to agree and promise him of this. The remainder of the day was spent like the previous one. He played the boastful soldier, the merry smith, and he had comrades and boon companions in plenty. At 8 o'clock, he had put on his uniform again and was shut up in the church. He had not been there for more than an hour before he had come to his senses and thought, "It's best to stop now while the game is going well." The third night he was sure would be the worst. He had been drunk when he promised it, and half of the kingdom, the king could never have been earnest about that, so he decided to leave without waiting so long as on the previous nights. In that way, sorry. Am I going to sneeze again? No? Okay. In that way, he would escape the little man who had watched him before. All the doors and posterns were locked, but he finally through it, creeping up to the window, and saw an opening that, as the clock struck 9, and he crept out of there. It was a fairly high wall, but he got to the ground with no bones broken and started to run. He got down to the shore without meeting anyone, and there he got into a boat and pushed off from land, and he laughed immensely to himself as he thought of how cleverly he had managed to get and cheat that old little man. Just as he heard the voice from the shore, "Good evening, Christian. Where are you going?" He gave no answer. "Tonight your legs will be too short," he thought, and pulled at the oars. Then he felt something lay hold of the boat and drag it straight into the shore. For all that he sat and struggled with the oars, the man then said to him and laid hold of him, "You must remain at your post as you promised." And whether he liked it or not, Christian had just to go back with him the whole way to the church. "We never get in that window again," Christian said. "It was far too high up." "You go in there, and you shall go in there," said the little man, and with that he lifted him up into the windowsill and said to him, "Notice now that you have to do what you have to do. This evening, you must stretch yourself out on the left-hand side of her chest. The lid opens to the right, and she comes out to the left. When she has got out of her chest and passed over you, you must get into it and lie there, and in a hurry without her seeing you. Then you must remain lying until day dawns, and whether she threatens you or entreats you, you must not come out of it, or give her any answer. Then she has no power over you. Both you and she are freed." The smith then had to go in at the window just as he came out, went and laid himself length on his left side on the princess's chest, closed it up, and there he laid stiff as a rock until the clock struck 12. The lid sprang up to the right, and the princess came out straight over him and rushed around the church howling and shrieking, "Sentry! Where are you? Sentry! Where are you?" She went out towards the altar and right up into it, but there was no one there. Then she screamed again, "My father has no sentry in. War and pest will now begin." Then she went around the whole church, both up and down, sighing and weeping. "My father has no sentry in. War and pest will now begin." When she went away again, and at that moment the clock in the tower struck 1. Then the smith heard in the church a soft music, which grew louder and louder, and soon the whole building. He heard also a multitude of footsteps, as if the church was being filled with people. He heard the priest go through the service in front of the altar, and there was singing, and more beautiful than he had ever heard before. Then he also heard the priest offer up a prayer of thanksgiving because the land had been freed from war and pestilence and from all misfortune, and the king's daughter delivered from the evil one. Many voices joined in. A hymn of praise was sung, and then he heard the priest again and heard his own name and that of the princess and thought he was being wedded to her. The church was packed full, but he could see nothing. Then he heard again the many footsteps of the old leaving the church, while the music sounded fainter and fainter until it altogether died away. When it was silent, the light of day began to break in through the windows. The smith sprang up out of the chest and fell on his knees and thanked God. The church was empty, but up in front of the altar lay the princess, white and red, like a human being, but sobbing and crying and shaking with cold in her white shroud. The smith took his sentry coat and wrapped it around her, and she dried her tears and took his hand and thanked him, and said that he had now been freed her from all the sorcery that had been in her from her birth, which had come over her again and again. And when her father broke the command against seeing her until she had completed her 14th year, she said further that if he had delivered her, and she would take him to marriage, and she would be his. If not, she would go into a nunnery, and he could neither marry no other for as long as she lived, for he was wedded to her with the service of the dead, which he had heard. She was now the most beautiful young princess that anyone could ever wish to see, and he was now a lord of half the kingdom, which had been promised to him for standing guard on the third night. So they agreed that they would have each other and love each other for all their days. With the first sunbeam, the watch came and opened the church. And not only was the colonel there, but the king in person, come to see what had happened to the sentinel. He found them both sitting hand in hand on the step in front of the altar, and immediately knew his daughter again, and took her into his arms, thanking God and her deliverer. He made no objections to what they had arranged, and so Christian the Smith held his wedding with the princess and got half the kingdom at once, and the whole of it when the king died. As for the other sentries, with so many doors and windows open, no doubt they had run away and gone into the Prussian service. And as for what Christian had said he saw, he had been drinking more wine than what was good for him. The end. Thank you for blessing my sneezes. Achoo. Pachi. Oh, man. That was more of a horror story than a fairy tale, but it was a fun one, wasn't it? There's not really any post-commentary to say outside of man, wasn't it wild that there was a dead man? Isn't that crazy? I would never. Not in a million years. Not once. Sorry, I ate a pineapple. He would never expect that story. You know, I did say it was a zombie princess story. I myself had not read it. I had only read like the summaries and everything because I wanted, I wanted my story reading, though it probably would have helped and I would have stumbled less on some of the bits of the sentences if I had read it before. But I wanted to make it so that when I read it, my reaction would be genuine, and I tried my best to hide my reaction a couple times, and I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, what a dummy. But he got a kingdom for it. He got a kingdom for being a dummy. All right, guys. I will see you hopefully next Wednesday. I will let you guys know if it's not going to be on a Wednesday. It's going to be on a Thursday instead. And I am so glad you enjoyed the stream. Anyone have any other thoughts of what they thought of the zombie princess and her running around saying, Sentinel! Sentinel! Oh man, that was some wild stuff, man. I would never. I can understand why he was forced back into the house every single time. I'm gonna assume the old man was probably supposed to be God or Jesus in disguise, but whoo. And it does seem funny that only a Christian man could save the princess, who was named Christian and was a Christian. A very wild tale indeed as I eat this canned pineapple. So I hope everyone enjoyed. And I'll see you again next Wednesday. Or if you're on my Discord, I might be doing some more Final Fantasy today. Who knows? Or on Friday, we should be doing Anime Night. Should. I don't have anything planned this Friday. We should be good. What dis? This was story time. You just missed it. We just finished reading The Princess in the Chest, which is about a zombie princess. It was horrifying. Fairy tales are wild. I do hope to see you next time, though. I'm on the thing. I do need to fix this because I messed up the YouTube. So when I started the stream, it should have started the event, and it didn't start the event. But the great thing about this is because there wasn't any music while we were reading the story. Yes, I do see the YouTube chat is not showing, and I don't know why. I wish I could tell you, but I cannot. Because that was not intentional. I think it's because I broke the YouTube. So, I apologize in advance. There is someone crying on my other YouTube channel. Just so you know, YouTube, or I think that's Willie. Just so you know that we do story time when I forget to do stream on a Wednesday. Last week, I was gonna do a stream on Thursday because I forgot to do it on Wednesday, and then my bathroom started smoking. So I just checked Twitch and I can't see you. I can't tell you what's going on. I tried so hard. I don't know what's happening. Point being is we had a fairy tale story time. And I will try to see what's going on here and pray. It will eventually be on YouTube and there will be chapters. So if you want to just skip straight to the story instead of talking about what's going on in the book, what is the oh, never mind, it popped up. There we go. Hi, Twitch. It is very weird. I don't know what's going on. I can't tell you what it is. I'm going to assume Restream, which is what I'm using to stream on both platforms because I do that for the fairy tale stuff, just didn't want to work today. So, I will see you guys either today if I'm not doing anything and I just feel like doing stuff. Where the cool kids hang? They hang wherever they want. This is both a YouTube and a Twitter stream. I just don't know why the Twitch chat and a Twitch stream. I just don't know why the Twitch chat broke. So, the YouTube chat broke. The stream chat broke. But I will see you guys next time, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye, guys!